everybody. Magandang umaga po. Maiksi lang po yung babanggitin ng DICT. Tapos mamaya po, pag nagkaroon ng pagkakataon, i-update po namin kayo dun sa latest na breakthrough namin with Meta. So, marami na pong nasabi tungkol sa fake news. Bayaan nyo pong bigyan ko naman ng explanation kung bakit importante nga po sa normal na kababayan po natin. May mga example po tayo kung bakit masama ang fake news maliban sa politika at saka national security. Ito yung mga pang-araw-araw na nararanasan nila. Una, na-scam dahil sa maling impormasyon. May mga Facebook posts na nagsasabing sa halagang 20 pesos lang na puhunan, kikita ka ng 5,000 araw-araw. Marami po yan. Nakikita po natin sa mga feeds yan. Marami pong Pilipino, lalo na ang mga naghahanap ng dagdag kita, ang nahuhulog sa mga peking promo. Yung iba dito, dadaling ka sa gambling, illegal, at dadaling ka sa mga fake investment sites. Tulad po nung pinakita kanina sa video. So nawawalan sila ng pera, minsan nawawalan ng data, at ang masakit dyan, nawawalan na sila ng tiwala sa financial system dahil sa ginagawa na to nung fake news. Pangalawa po, nagkakalat ng takot at galit. Ako po ay nabiktima na rin ng fake news. Siguro karamihan sa atin dito nabiktima sa fake news. Minsan iisipin mo, pag-aaksayan ka po ba ng panahon? Parang hindi na eh. Pero pag hindi mo naman pinag-aaksayan ng panahon, yung mga kamag-anak natin, yung mga mahal natin sa buhay, sila naman yung nagpapanik para sa atin. So, example lang po, may kumakalat na balitang isang e-wallet magsasara na. O may libreng ayuda, basta i-click mo lang. Alam niyo po, nung nasa bangko ko, marami kami nakikita ganyan, yung mga clickbait ba? Pero sa likod nan, phishing sites. Ito po, Mr. Chairman, Your Honors, ito yung kinukuha yung mga password nila. Tapos saan po darating yan? Makukuha yung OTP, tapos makikita mo, mauubos na lang yung e-wallet ng mga tao. Fake news po ang ginagamit dyan. Isa pa ay ginagamit na panira ng kabuhayan. May iba po tayong masipag na mga nagdi-deliver sa bahay-bahay, yung mga parcel delivery. Minsan sinisira ng fake news yung kanilang reputation. Nawawala ng pagkakakitahan. Kawawa naman yung mga kababayan natin. Ito po, marami rin to, pang-apat, ang nagpapakalat ng maling legal o gobyernong approved na gambling. Nakikipag-isa po kami sa mga platform providers at saka sa telco, kasama ng PAGCOR at PCSO. Nangyayari po kasi hindi lantaran yung illegal gambling. Minsan kinukuha nila yung mga miyembro sa Facebook. So pag nakuha yung miyembro sa Facebook, dinadala sa mga illegal sites. So sa amin, ang fake news ay equivalent po yan sa panlilinglang, equivalent po yan sa krimen. Sa DICT naman po, ano yung ginagawa namin? Meron na po kaming ginagawa na AI-powered system para makadetect ng fake news at online scams. Isa po dun sa mga hackathon namin, may gawang Pilipino. Matatalino po yung mga bata. Gumawa sila ng sistema na pwede naming i-endorse ngayon sa Meta at sa mga other platforms na gamitin nila para mag-detect ng fake news. Gawang Pilipino po yan. Sana tanggapin ng Meta. Nakikipag-ugnayan po kami sa mga social media platforms. Alam niyo po, Mr. Chairman, members of the TRICOM, kahapon po sa opisina namin, in preparation for this TRICOM, kasi gusto namin, lagi kaming handa, pinatawag po namin si Kumu. Si Kumu po is a social media platform na gawang Pilipino rin. Maayos po yung kanilang mga pulisiya at patakaran. Dumating po ang Google na nandito rin po ngayon sa atin. Dumating po ang TikTok. Tapos dumating din yung Meta na nagpapatakbo ng Facebook. Doon nagkaroon po kami ng breakthrough sa usapan namin na susubukan nila mag-propose ng mga measures para i-improve. Siguro, kailangan i-acknowledge po natin yung mga talagang nag-cooperate na matindi. Unang-una na dyan si Kumu. Kung ano man ang sabihin ng gobyerno, susunod sila in terms of protecting truth. Si Google, nagsabi na rin po. Si TikTok po, nagsabi na rin po. Si Meta, kaninang umaga lang po sumagot sa amin. So, mahalaga po yung usapin na to. Doon po tayo sa update sa Meta. Si Meta po sumulat sa amin ng formal. Ang sabi nila, i-implement nila isang mekanismo na tinatawag nilang demotion. So pag naalala nyo po sa Facebook feed, dyan po marami yan eh. Pumapayag na sila ngayon na kapag CICC o PCO o any duly authorized authority ng gobyerno, pagka nagpadala kami sa kanila na ito po, fake news to, they will demote in their feeds. Meaning, hindi naman totally mawawala, pero mababawasan. Malaking bagay po yon. And we acknowledge naman na sumagot si Meta. Although sa amin, ang mas gusto namin ay isang masusing regulasyon para talagang hindi na ba reactive yung pag-attend sa fake news, proactive na. So sana po, during this hearing, makabigay kami as resource person ng additional information to the TRICOM in order for the TRICOM to craft the necessary laws to better protect the country from fake news. Dahil talaga pong nakakasakit po siya. Maraming salamat po.
Yeah, Secretary, rest assured naman na patatawag kayo because we have already drafted some measures, but of course yung mga insights ninyo kailangan po. Baka members would like to ask some question kay Secretary before we proceed with Secretary J. Ruiz. Ako kasi may tanong lang ako, kasi kanina may sinasabi kayong demotion. Ano yung demotion na mangyayari doon sa content creator na yon? You have agreed with the platforms that there is a certain demotion on the violation of sa fake news. Ano yung demotion?
Parang mangyayari po noon, Mr. Chairman, hindi mo makikita ngayon sa newsfeed. Tapos magkakaroon sila ng pending review. Tapos i-review pa daw nila. So parang baliktad. Dati kasi tinatanggal nila after review. So ngayon, pag may competent authority na nagsabi na, oh, baka fake news yan, i-demote muna nila. Tapos i-review nila. Parang ganon.
And okay, naintindihan ko na yun. So meron ka rin binanggit about the Filipinos who are equipped with detector ng mga fake news. Can you kindly tell us and all the Filipinos na ano po ba yung mechanism nung nade-detect nila yung fake news? Gaano ang elemento ng oras na na-detect po nila yon upon uploading of that content? Gaano katagal na nalaman niya na fake news yun?
Mr. Chair, yung pong startup na yon, dalawang batang Pilipino po, mga 25 years old lang after college, pero matalino. Galing po sila ng San Carlos sa Cebu. Nag-join sila ng hackathon, ng OpenGov Hackathon 2 weeks ago na inisponsor ng DepEd, tapos nandun din po si DICT to judge. Yung mechanism po nila, gumamit sila ng AI, tinitignan yung mga web. Tapos may algorithm sila para malaman kung fake siya o hindi. Ang kagandahan, Mr. Chair, nung kanilang system, dahil Pilipino yung gumawa, yung bang lengguwahe natin, yung konteksto natin, pinasok nila doon. Mabilis nila madidetect. So habang tinitignan nila yung web, kung ano yung mga fake news, madidetect nila. Kaya kami nakikipag-cooperate sa kanila para pag na-detect nila, bigay ka agad sa CICC. CICC naman, babato namin kaagad kay Meta o kay TikTok or yan po isang technical solution na binubuo namin ngayon. Ang kailangan lang is cooperation from the platforms na i-open up nila yung platforms nila to our... Kasi mahirap yung gagawa pa kami ng memo. Tapos isusulat.
Yeah.
Tatagal pa yun eh.
So, Secretary, in other words, you will have a working relationship with all these platforms regularly, once a week, mga ganyan po ba? Para at least talagang namomonitor natin yung mga fake news. And all together with this Filipino inventor of the detector or detection of the fake news. Are they going to be involved? Well, sa may-ari ng YouTube, di ba, dito, Google. So, are you considering the proposal of Secretary Agudo about the detection of the fake news by these Filipino inventors?
Mr. Chair, we work closely with the DICT under the leadership of Secretary Aguda, and we will continue to collaborate closely on this issue.
All right, thank you so much with that answer. So, somehow, probably, magkakaroon po ng peace of mind yung ating pong mga kababayan. Somehow, no? But the power of this committee or the next committee, no, on the 20th Congress is to the power of oversight. And I hope that under the leadership of Speaker Martin Romualdez, I'm pretty sure that this oversight power will be observed by this 20th Congress. And rest assured that we will have the 100% support on this endeavor that you have initiated. Congressman Barbers, you were raising.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tanong lang, no? Hindi kasi ako techie, but I'd like to ask if okay lang ba na magkaroon ng, let's say, prior censorship before a post is posted online. Give it, say, mga 3, 4, 5, 10 seconds, probably, to be able to check kung ito ba ay fake news. Kasi wala naman, alam mo, masama kasi, Mr. Secretary, is that when people post contents online without verifying, validating information, naipost na kumalat na Halimbawa po, sabihin po natin na si Dan Fernandez ay isang babaero. Pagka kumalat po yan, kung wala naman pong katotohanan, ay, totoo pala. My point being, Mr. Secretary, is that would it be possible that there could be some system of prior censorship before a content is posted online, as long as it will not violate any law? No, kung ganon, maybe we can closely coordinate with the social media platforms and ask them to do the same. Magkaroon ng prior checking or censorship or whatever they want to call it, as long as it will not violate any law.
Mr. Chair, if I may, the answer po is yes. In our conversation yesterday, malinaw yung kwento sa amin ni Google on how YouTube checks yung mga text. Pagka may mga salita doon na talagang bawal, ginagamit po nila yan for illegal gambling and pornography. Mababasa po yun. Tapos tinatanggal na nila lahat. So malinaw po, TikTok meron din pong ganon. Si Meta po meron din pong mekanismo. Siguro ang tanong dyan is, meron silang tool. Masusi ba yung pag-a-apply nila ng tool? Ang isa pong example din na ginagamit ko, yung platform, ito yung madalas ko pong ginamit example. Kung manonood po kayo ng streaming service, di ba, sometimes hindi nyo mapanood yung mga content na nasa abroad. Ang tawag doon, geo-blocking, geo-locking. Pag yun nagagawa in real time yon sa streaming, mas madalubhasa naman po sa technology yung mga platform. May mga AI nga sila So yung bang ma-check nyo muna yung content bago mo ilabas, technically kaya po yon. Sa kanila po siguro, baka gusto nilang sumagot kung paano
So in
yung
other words,
pamamaraan
Mr.
nila.
Secretary, before I acknowledge, tapos ka na, Congressman Barbers, no? So we acknowledge Congressman Johnny.
Mr. Chair.
Kasi parang ang dating, si Congressman Johnny muna, and then I think, after Congressman Johnny, si Congressman Acop, and then Congressman Arlene Brosas. So, Congressman, Chairman Pimentel.
Sec. Aguda, during the previous hearing, we invited the representatives of Meta, no? They came all the way from Singapore. Now, during our interpellation, we found out that they have 60 fact checkers all over the world, no? Now, in the Philippines, they have 3 fact checkers. Vera Files, Rappler, may isa pa. And these fact checkers are private organizations. Wala po ba tayong plano na ang gobyerno natin magtayo ng fact checker din?
Mr. Chair, siguro you have a plan for can I
Yes.
ask Sec J to respond kasi I think they have a plan for that.
Sec. J.
Your Honor, we do have a plan. We're coming up with a memorandum of agreement. Kaso sa amin dalawa nga ng DICT, kung sino pwedeng maging legitimate fact-checker dito sa Pilipinas. Kasi ang nangyayari po, ang rinirecognize lang ng Meta is yung may mga regulators, Department of Finance, Department DTI dahil nga may issues sa mga consumers, consumer protection, tapos yung DMW. So pati po kami sa PCO, naalala ko nung naglabas po ng fake memo, may isang naglabas na fake memo
Yes,
na di
I
umano
remember
galing
that.
sa
Oh.
Office of the Executive Secretary. Ngayon, sinabi ko sa CICC, sa Cybercrime and Investigation Coordinating Council, pare, national security concern na to. Pwede bang sabihan mo yung mga platforms, tanggalin agad yung memo na yan dahil fake news yan. Alam mo, sir, natanggal, hindi nila tinanggal. Ang reason ng mga platforms is that ito is freedom of expression. May community standards kami. Ang bawat isang user, siya ang kumbaga accountable to his or her account. So, ano to? Are we at the mercy of the platforms? Bakit ganun? PCO na ako, Presidential Communications Office. Sinasabi ko ng national security concern, I was getting a certification, I had my certification from the CICC ng DICT, and yet, ayaw pa rin magtanggal. Dadaan pa raw ako ng fact-checker na third-party fact-checker. So, I think Asik Aboy can elaborate on what happened. So, eventually po, ilang beses namin silang kinakausap. Sabi namin, hindi kayo dito naka-base, hindi pa kayo nagbabayad ng buwis, and yet, you don't regulate or stop fake news here in the Philippines. Ang nangyayari po dito sa Pilipinas is, kumikita sila sa atin. Hindi natin sila ina-allow natin itong space na to. Kumbaga, pag pumasok ka ng bar, na may nangyayaring illegal doon sa bar, hindi naman yung mga taong gumagawa ng illegal lang ang dapat mong tirahin. Dahil pa-isa-isa lang po yun. Yun yung mga vloggers. Dapat, yung nag-check, yung pagpasok pa lang sa bar, ikaw na nag-check kung tama ba itong impormasyon anto. At kung hindi mo pwedeng gawin yan, hindi mo ma-self-regulate yung sarili mo, di dapat mangyari, ipa-regulate mo sa iba. I just learned from the Minister of Information ng Singapore po that since 2019, they already have regulation against disinformation, misinformation, and fake news in their country. And the platforms follow them. May strict rules po yan. There's another law po, na landmark law, in the European Union, yung Digital Services Act, na nire-regulate din niya po. May penalties against platforms, social media platforms, na kapag nagpapalabas ka ng fake news, you will be penalized. Ang tinitira po nila yung penalties mataas po, 6% of profit po ang ginagawa nila. With the absence of a law, first of defining what fake news is, penalties, studies, wala tayong mapanghawakan. Kaya kumakalat ng ganyang karami yung fake news, katulad po nung nangyari nung last elections. In the last elections, many public servants, yung mga iba kasi, ilang buwan o ilang taon ng preparation na kakasira sa isang politiko, yun lang ginamit nila, disinformation, misinformation, fake news, laban sa kandidato. Natalo o kaya bumaba yung kanilang support. Kasi dahil nga dun sa paninira, and yet hindi ma-stop eh. Kasi nga, usually ang ginagawa ng ibang mga politiko or ibang mga kalaban, nag-hire yan ng trolls, cyber warriors. So, sa kakasira, lahat naman tayo nasa cyber world na yon. Dalawa ng mundo ng Pilipino eh. Yung real world, yung cyber world. Most of people now, probably half of their time, spare time, napupunta sa cyber world. Ito na yung nakikita nila. So, nai-influensyahan yung utak ng tao. Paano kung ang tao, binibase niya ang decision niya sa mga fake news o kasinungalingan? Isipin mo kung ang mga botante natin, boboto, base sa impormasyon ng kasinungalingan, anong klaseng generation, anong klaseng democracy meron tayo? Another threat po, if you do not put a stop to fake news, is that eventually, our people will no longer decide based on informed decisions, but based on lies. We agree that there is a right to information, but that right should be accurate information. In the Philippines, ang pangkontra po natin sa fake news is yung cybercrime law pa rin, na dapat may intent. Dito sa atin, wala pa po tayong batas na dapat tapusin itong laban natin sa fake news. The fight against fake news is not just for the present, but it's for the future of our country.
Actually, Mr. Chair, that is precisely the reason why we are here, is to legislate a law that would really combat fake news. And Mr. Chair, I totally agree with the observation of Secretary Jay that we are at the mercy of Meta platform. Isipin niyo po, Mr. Chair, yung gobyerno na natin ang nag-request sa Meta platform to take down the fake news of that memorandum that was issued purportedly by E.S. Bersamin. Hindi nga sila nakinig sa inyo eh. And what is painful is that Meta platform is not even paying taxes to the Philippine government. Ang pinag-request lang natin sa kanila is self-regulation. However, sabi ko nga, hindi tayo pinapakinggan. In fact, during the previous hearing, when we asked the Meta representatives, sinabihan pa kami na public officials are subject to criticisms. So, it's about time siguro, if they cannot have self-regulation, it must be this government, this administration, tayo mag-regulate sa kanila. And that is why, Mr. Chair, I think we should really study I don't know if it is possible that we should require this Meta to get a franchise from Congress for them to operate here. Kasi may oversight committee ang Congress, we can regulate them. Ang problema sa Meta, ang pinag-iisipan lang nila yung kung kita nila eh. There are 90 million users sa Pilipinas. I think we are the biggest users of this platform in the entire Southeast Asia. Ang laki ng kita nila pero they cannot self-regulate. So ang kawawa, hindi lang public servants, kundi pati yung ordinaryong mamayang Pilipino, palaging biktima nito using this platform. So that is why maybe we can ask help from Secretary Jay, Secretary Aguda, to find a way that we can regulate this platform. Yun lang po, Mr. Chair.
As a matter of fact, Chairman, meron tayong bill na ipa-file regarding that. So, I think the members of this House will be given that copy as well. I hope the President, through Secretary Ruiz, hindi na natin kaya ngayong 19th Congress, but I think the President must certify urgent yung mga bills that that the 20th Congress will be filing. Kasi kailangan na dito na intervention talaga ng Presidente na mapabilis yung batas na yon. And I think mga 1 year din yan bago natin maaprubahan sa 20th Congress. Anyway, the Chair would like to now recognize Congressman Chairman Acop.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Gandang umaga po sa atin lahat. May I ask dito, Secretaries, ano po sa palagay nyo, sino po ba ang may primordial responsibility ng fact-checking?
Mr. Chair, yung responsibilidad po nung fact-checking, tulad po nung analogy na binigay ni Sec J, yung sa bar. Ako naman, ang analogy ko, mall. Kung halimbawa, pumasok po kayo sa mall, tapos yung mambibili, bumili ng fake, kasalanan din po ng mall yun. Kasi dapat yung mall, ang papapasukin lang niya na nagbebenta ng mga kakanin, mga merchandise, etc. Yun tama lang. Hindi sila nagpapapasok dapat ng fake. So sa akin po, ang responsibilidad dyan, yung platform. Isa po, analogy ko rin po, sa TV tsaka sa radio, di ba KBP has done a very good job self-regulating themselves. Pero meron pang MTRCB. So kaya pag nanood ka ng TV tsaka radyo, maayos yung content. Mas malaki po na yung reach ng ng social media platform times 10, times 20 ng normal broadcast So, Mr. Chair, with due respect to the platforms, dapat sila, kasi kumikita po sila ng pera pa sa platform na yan. At saka, isa na sila sa mga pinakamayayaman na kumpanya sa mundo eh.
Would the PCO Secretary have the same opinion?
We have the same opinion. Pero kaya nga, pag pinapasok mo yung fake news sa iyong platform, dapat yan may karampatang parusa sa gobyerno. Dahil nga, ikaw ang nagpapasok eh. Ginagamit nila yung platform mo to be a purveyor of fake news. Inaalaw mo siya. Dapat ikaw as a platform, lahat ng mga nalilinis yan, malinis na. Sinisigurado mong totoo na po. Yun po dapat ang nangyayari. Ang mas nakakatakot po ngayon, with the advent of new technology, napakabilis po. We have deepfakes, we have artificial intelligence. Itong paglabas ng fake news, na it's mas mabilis pa sa wildfire na ngayon yan. So it will reach hundreds of millions in just hours. So yun po yung dapat, habang wala pa tayong, alam ko naman po that we're working on a legislation on this, pero habang wala, dapat maisama na rin po sa ating proposed legislation po, yung deepfake at saka yung artificial intelligence. Meron kasing kabuti. Sa technology po kasi yan, dalawa yan eh. You have to look at the positive aspect of technology, use it for good, or you can use it as a weapon, you can use it to do bad. Ang nangyayari po, mas malimit, nagagamit sa masama itong mga platform. Kaya kailangan talaga, kahit papano, kung hindi siya content moderation, ma-regulate po natin siya tulad ng ginagawa ng ibang bansa na meron naman pong nakitaan na successful po na legislation laban sa fake news po.
Thank you. Would the Google representative agree with the two secretaries that it is the primordial responsibility of platforms to see to it that the content providers would not violate any law, and that is part of your accountability? Would you agree with that?
Mr. Chair, throughout the 19th Congress, we have been working closely with legislature.
Please answer my question appropriately.
Mr. Chair, we will look forward to working closely, continuously working closely with the 20th Congress on
No,
legislation.
my question is, do you agree with the opinion of the two secretaries insofar as the responsibility of media platforms to fact-check the contents of the bloggers that you have? Would you agree with that? Or you're just like the Meta representatives, they would evade responsibility, as the records of the hearing would show? I'm asking you now, as the representative of Google.
Mr. Chair, we agree that everyone who uses these platforms have the appropriate responsibility, including the platforms as well. So, Mr. Chair, for things that are within the control of the platform, we would take accountability for that. For things that are within the control of other entities, such as, for example, the users, then the appropriate responsibility and accountability mechanisms as provided by law would be applicable.
Thank you. Secretary Ruiz, you mentioned about third-party fact-checking. Now, why is there a need for such? If would make it a provision of law that is the sole responsibility of the platforms to conduct the fact-checking, why is there a need for a third party?
If accountability is now placed in the platforms, and there would be a need, there wouldn't be a need for a platform. In the United States, they removed all the fact checkers already. I think here in the Philippines, I'm not sure kung gumagana pa ba or tinanggal na rin nila. I think last January, they also removed some of their fact checkers. Why do you need a fact checker? Dapat ang accountable boss yung, Your Honor, yung mga platforms. Kasi why would you allow them to be in your platform if you know already that these are fake news. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, kasi yung pong magkakaroon po tayo ng sitwasyon na baka magkaiba-iba rin yung resulta ng fact-checking kung napakarami ng mga fact-checkers po natin. Di po ba?
Tama po yun.
Yes. So that we can pinpoint responsibility talaga.
Exactly.
Thank you. Anyway, pwede po bang matanong ko uli kayo ng ibang katanungan para sa pagbalangkas namin sa magiging batas tungkol dito sa fake news? Sa inyong obserbasyon at pag-aaral, anong mga hakbang ang dapat gawin ng mga social media platforms para ma-ensure na hindi inaabuso ng mga users nila ang mga platforms to spread misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation?
Una po ang kailangan, media and information literacy. Tapos pagka sa kanila mismo, pag nasabihan na po sila na sa amin, ito, flag namin to, fake news to, galing to sa isang government agency, department, agad-agad dapat i-take down. Hindi pa pwede na para ka nagmamakaawa sa kanila para i-take down yung post na alam naman ng lahat na fake news na. Bakit nyo pinapabayaan na ma-viral pa yan? Eh, halatang-halata naman, alam naman na ng lahat. Sinabi na namin, fake news to. Do we need to defend ourselves and tell them, we already said in the press, fake news yan. And yet, kumakalat pa rin ng kumakalat. Ang masakit po dito, pag ganito ang magiging sitwasyon, we will now have a generation of Filipinos na parati pong nag-aaway kasi nga, napopolarize eh. Either nasa kaliwa ka o nasa kabila ka, kung saan ka man nakataya. So, parati na lang po nag-aaway yung ating lipunan. Kung hindi natin nire-regulate, sabi nga po nung isang kausap naming Minister ng Information, magiging wild. Dahil walang nag-check eh. So, wild yung communication at yung nakukuha po ng taong bayan na information is kung araw-araw maling impormasyon, negatibong impormasyon, imagine how it will pollute the next gen or maybe the present generation of Filipinos. Kasi ito yung pumapasok sa utak ng tao. Araw-araw po yan. Katulad na lang ng isang bata. Pag araw-araw negatibo ang kanyang naririnig, nakikita, away ng away. Anong mangyayari sa batang yun pag lumalaki na?
I agree, Mr. Secretary, dahil nababasa naman po natin na yung impact ng fake news would lead to misinformation, leading to misinformed opinions. And the other effect is that it would come up with social divisions. Kagaya ng sabi nyo, magkakaroon po ng polarizations. I agree with you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Secretary. Next, much has been said that the platforms also conduct their fact-checking according to their answers to the questions that we have propounded. Pero na-mention din sa last hearing yung phrase na fact-tagging to combat the spread of fake news. Sa tingin niyo po ba effective ito?
Hindi gaano, sir eh. Dapat, kasi yung mismong, mas mabilis magpakalat. So kahit pina-fact check mo na, magkakaroon pa rin ng doubt yung mga tao. Lalong-lalo na nga dahil nasira na yung credibility mo. Sinasabi mo na lang, kinag mo na fake news. Sasabihin na naman, how can we now tell na fake news talaga, ay na hindi talaga fake news yun? Kasi nawalan na yung credibility dahil nga sa napakaraming kasinungalingan. Libo na yung kasinungalingan, milyon na yung kasinungalingan. Ikaw, nag-iisang nagsasabi na ito yung katotohanan, lunod na lunod yung katotohanan na, hindi na lumalabas. Ang pinaniniwalaan na ng tao, yung fake news.
Kung ganun po, Mr. Secretary, naniniwala po kayo na the best way to regulate the spread of fake news is through government regulation?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Would it not be better na hayaan natin ang mga social media platforms to self-regulate?
Hindi pwede kasi nga yun nga po nangyari ngayon. Supposedly may self-regulation. On their community standards. Sila po ang nagbigay ng standards eh. It has to be the government who should give those standards. Tayo ang may responsibilidad. They say we have to, it's a right, free information, a right to information. But that right comes with accurate information. Eh kasi nungalingan na pinapakalat nila. So dapat, doon pa lang, ang platform should be accountable. Ikaw ang nagpakalat ng fake news. Kayo. Hindi nyo nilinis eh. Tulad ng in radio, for example. Minsan lang nagkamali yung reporter. Minsan lang. Agad suspendido yon. O kaya tanggal. Hindi pinayagan ng radio station. Ibig sabihin, may standards. Yung KBP, may MTRCB silang sinusundan. Dito, walang sinusunod. Standards nila. Eh bakit sila ang napaka-importante ng information sa ating buhay? Actually, ang mandate ng Presidential Communications Office is relevant, timely, and accurate information. If you cannot provide that, that will continue to destroy our institutions. Not just institutions, but tao. Tao ang sinisira ng fake news. Nilalason ng ating mga kabataan, whether seniors ka o bata ka, nalalason ng utak mo. Sasabihin sa inyo, ito kahit kasinungalingan, napapaniwalaan ng tao.
Mr. Chair, the Secretary of the ICT.
Yeah, go ahead.
raising his hand.
Secretary Guday, you are
Mr.
recognized.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Dagdagan ko lang po yung sinabi ni Secretary Jay, kung mas maganda may batas. Yung nabanggit ni Sec Jay na community standards, kanila lang po yun nagsa-self-regulate sila. Hindi rin nila sinusunod eh. We're not asking for special treatment in the Philippines. We just want them to fairly implement their standards. Hindi po patas yung pagkaka-implement nila ng standards. So kung sila magsa-self-regulate, medyo malabo. Second, hindi na po natin hinihingi, lalo na kay Meta, gumawa ng bagong bagay. Ginawa na po nila yan in 2018. Noong 2018, nagsalita si Mark Zuckerberg, hindi sapat yung ginawa ni Facebook para protektahan yung mga tao. So, naglagay po sila dito ng content moderation team. Nagulat na lang kami, tinanggal nila eh. So, nagawa na nila before. Panghuli na lang po, pag tinanong nyo po lahat ng mga platform ngayon, hihingi sila ng batas eh. Nung nakausap ko sila kahapon, sabi, ano ba yung solusyon? Pag tinanong nyo pala sila ngayon, sasabihin nila, they need regulation. They want the government to put up a law to regulate them. So sila mismo, gusto nilang ma-regulate mismo eh. Yun lang po, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Ito po yung issue ngayon eh. If you're proposing government regulation, we have to strike a balance between government regulation and freedom of expression. Di po ba? So, kung gobyerno ang magre-regulate, paano natin masisiguro na ang regulasyon na ito ay hindi magagamit upang patahimikin ang oposisyon o mga critical na pananaw?
Yun, walang problema eh. Kung,
Please refrain from clapping or anything in that kind, no?
kung opinion naman po, sorry.
Otherwise, we'll be asking you to leave these premises. Go ahead, Secretary Ruiz.
Sir, if it's just an opinion, it's not fake news, there's no lie, it's okay. That's free. I mean, it's a freedom of expression. Just like TV, you have your opinions. Okay lang po yun. Opinion yun eh. But once it's proven that it's already a lie, they have to be accountable for that. Just like what they do in Singapore. Ang sabi po nung minister nila, una, ipa-flag ka muna. Sasabihan ka, oh, parang may sinasabi na mag-ingat po kayo sa post na to dahil mali or may misinformation. First, second, hanggang tatlo. Pag hindi mo pa binabayan on the third, what do you call that? Na sinabihan ka na, meron ng po penalty po yun. Tapos ang nangyayari po, they divert you to the right information on that same page. So ganun ang ginagawa po sa Singapore. Sa European services naman, 6% of profit nila tanggal. Pag napatunayan na ikaw ay purveyor ng fake news. Ang binibigyan nilang responsibilidad sa ibang... Ito nga nakakatawa, Your Honor Sa ibang bansa, pumapayag silang magpa-regulate. The question is, why not in our country? For movies, television, radio, we regulate them. We have the MTRCB. Meron tayong KBP. Dito sa atin, wala. Walang isip. Dito nga po, ang nangyayari, akala natin, vloggers, pero paisa-isa lang po yun So dapat, yung platform mismo ang maglinis ng mga lumalabas sa kanilang social media platforms. Sila po ang may responsibility niyan. Or
Thank you.
else, may penalties sa platform, hindi sa tao.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Now, is there anybody from or any resource person present today that would advocate that the social media platforms would regulate themselves? Is there anybody? Any resource person who would advocate?
The guy wearing a...
From KBP, Your Honor.
Can you please state your name and then you are recognized?
Attorney Rudolph Steve Hularbal from the
From?
KBP.
From?
KBP, Your Honor.
Now you are recognized, please.
Your Honor, the KBP has been an advocate of self-regulation. And we believe a gun, it is not the gun that is to be regulated. It is the person who wields and uses the gun. So, social media journalists, responsible journalists, or commonly called bloggers, should be allowed to self-regulate, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question from the resource person? Mr. Chair, may I proceed?
Yes, go ahead, Chairman Ako, please.
Yung pong nag-advocate ng self-regulation, pakisagot lang po ito. Kung hayaan po natin na ang social media platforms to regulate themselves, paano po naman masisiguro na hindi ito gagamitin upang kontrolin ang narrative para sa kanilang sariling interest?
Your Honor, there are laws that penalize fake news or disinformation and misinformation.
There are laws.
There are laws, libel laws. For example, Your Honor, cyber libel as well as under the penal code. The difference is the prior restraint, Your Honor.
Cybercrime libel is not under the revised penal code. It is special law.
I'm sorry.
As a matter of
yes,
fact,
Your Honor.
kasama nga ako na author nun eh.
Yes, Your Honor. I stand corrected. I'm sorry. My point, Your Honor, is in determining whether a news is fake or disinformation or misinformation, it should go through a process. Censorship should not be allowed or prior restraint. However, this does not preclude being penalized should one commit a crime.
Hindi naman po yun ang kasagutan dun sa aking katanungan. Ang katanungan ko po is, paano po naman masisiguro na hindi ito gagamitin upang kontrolin ang narrative para sa kanilang sariling interest? In the same manner that I threw a different question to those proponents
Na hindi gagamitin para sa personal na agenda. then let's put stiff penalties for violation, Your Honor.
Okay. So there's a need for a law.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Secretary Ruiz, may I
Your
get,
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
pwede po bang makuha ko yung inyong opinion? Doon po sa sistema ng pag-fact check, paano ba natin matutukoy na ang isang impormasyon o balita ay dangerous o harmful content na dapat i-take down? Sa tingin niyo po ba dapat i-adapt or institutionalize ang standard na ito sa ating mga batas? At bakit po?
Po ay nakakasakit at nakakalason sa itong fake news sa taong bayan, tulad na lang nung isang post dati na nagsasabing ang Palawan ay parte ng bansang China. Siyempre, alam naman natin yung factual truths at hindi. Pag yung post na yon hindi mo pa binababa, sinabihan ka na niya, sinabihan na ng isang government agency na certified na fake news to, dapat agad-agad in 30 minutes or an hour, maibaba na po yung post na yon. Hindi yung nangyayari na ngayon, it will take days, it will take weeks bago maibaba yon. Nalalaso na. Tulad na lang nung nangyari. Sabi ng anak ko, Dad, is it true? They say on TikTok that Palawan is not part of the Philippines anymore. It's already owned by China. And I said, of course not. Who said that? Because people now, the young ones, get their news from TikTok, from social media. And even my son almost believed that Palawan is now part of China. And I have to correct him several times. Even if I already told him, many times, naniniwala pa rin kahit mali. Lalong-lalo na pagbata. Medyo delikado. Kasi nga, yung ganong pananaw, nadidemoralize ka ng labanan, yung katotohanan. Kasi nga, ganon na yung impression ng maraming tao eh. So, imbis na paniniwalaan ng katotohanan, pinaniniwalaan yung kasinungalingan.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Chairman, that would be all as far as this representation is concerned.
Thank you so much,
Mr. Chairman, just-
Before the chair recognize Chairman Barbers, the good secretary will be leaving in a while. So if the members of this committee have some question regarding issues with the secretary, you can ask him some question. So the chair would like to recognize first Congressman Barbers and then Congressman Manuel regarding the issue with Secretary Agudo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With the indulgence of Congressman Manuel, gusto ko lang pong tanungin si Secretary Aguda. Meron bang kapangyarihan ang DICT to take down any platform? Meron ba tayong ganong kapangyarihan?
Right now, Mr. Chair, unfortunately, wala.
Kasi
We
kung
just-
hindi sila sumusunod sa ating regulasyon, hindi sila sumusunod sa ating mga batas, ba't hindi natin sila i-take down? I'm just toying with the idea of them violating yung ating mga batas. Hindi po ba? Halimbawa, yung isang social media platform ay ginamit para sa isang paninirang puri, no? And then later on, nagkaroon ng fact check, sinabi kunyari ng Rappler o ng ABS-CBN na fake news yan. Yung mga actors dun sa gumagamit ng social media platform, hindi naman kinokorek yung kanilang post. Pinababayaan din nila. So, ibig sabihin, they were just out there to either defame you or maybe destroy your personality. Yun naman ho yung So, dapat siguro tingnan din natin na unang-una, wala naman silang contract. Itong mga social media platforms, according to them, wala naman silang contractual relationship sa atin. Kasi sabi nga nila, wala nga kaming opisina dyan sa Pilipinas eh. So, kung ganun, ba't kayo pumapayag na gamitin kayo para sa paninira, di ba? So perhaps in the crafting of our committee report, no, when we say regulation, tingnan din po natin yon. I don't know, Mr. Secretary, kung kayo ba ay sang-ayon sa puntong ni-raise ko.
Go ahead, Secretary Aguda.
Mr. Chair, that's specifically the support we need from Congress. Kasi ngayon, hindi malinaw. Wala talaga. Yung sa legal study po namin, walang eksaktong batas na will allow us to take it down. Kami, NTC, NPC, or CICC. So ang nangyayari po sa amin, nakikipag-coordinate kami and 75 days na po ako dito. Siguro naka-4 na sulat na ako sa, puro lang kami sulatan at saka meeting eh. So makakatulong po yung ginagawa ng TRICOM, and if you can craft a law that provides us specifically that authority.
So, Mr. Secretary Aguda, in a simple words, no? Parang binobola lang tayo ng mga platforms. Ganun ba yan? Kasi sinasabi nila, take down nila, madali nilang yung mga report natin.
Yeah,
pero hindi naman nila ginagawa.
Mr. Chair, to be fair, meron naman during last election, may mga 1,600 na na-take down. Ano po yon? Yung mga ginawa naman nila. Pero may mga bagay-bagay ba na kailangan pa ba natin pag-awayan para i-take down? And isa po, i-highlight ko lang kung bakit kailangan mabilis. Kasi yung mga platform nagkakaroon ng cross-pollination eh. So mahuli ka lang ng mga 5 minutes sa Meta, nakalipat na siya sa TikTok, nakalipat na siya sa... Ang hirap eh. So, kahit na 5 minutes lang yon, viral na. Kung hindi man mag-viral doon sa platform na yon, nakalipat na sa... Hindi pa natin napag-usapan yung Viber, yung WhatsApp. Kumakalat kagad eh, mabilis.
A while ago, you were saying, hindi lang ako nagtanong kasi nga I'm allowing the members to ask question. But meron kasi akong question doon sa sinabi mo kanina about doon sa streamline of other, I don't know if streamline ng platform that they can block it right away. Can you clarify something on this or explore mo yun? Kasi medyo gusto ko lang maintindihan din ng taong bayan na merong ganong klaseng abilidad or kapabilidad ang isang platform na i-take down right away. Di ba? Gaano kabilis yung pag-take down na yun?
Mr. Chair, yung nabanggit ko, streaming platform. Yan
Streaming
yung mga
platform.
YouTube, for example, YouTube Live, Facebook Live. Mabilis po yon. Pagka sa algorithm nila, tinitignan nila yung mga nasasabing salita. Tapos take down kagad. Meron din silang visualization. Pag pangit yung... Pagka dapat i-take down ng porn, mati-take down nila. Mabilis po yon. Yun yung hinihingi natin na gawin nila. Ang sinasabi lang sa amin kasi ng mga platform, kailangan daw i-define sa batas ano ibig sabihin ng fake news. Pag malinaw daw yung definition ng fake news sa batas, ipro-program nila yung sistema nila na immediately mati-take down. So, parang hinihingi nila yung definition mismo.
But I think, yung sa Google, nandito yan sa Google, no? Ang question natin sa Google, do you have the authority to answer on the query of this committee regarding sa mga takedowns? Kasi I think you're not the right person, no, to decide doon sa mga content na dapat pong alisin. Do you have that kind of authority? Or somebody in the Philippines connected with Google or your platform na magde-decide sa takedowns? Meron bang tao na taga sa inyo na nandito sa Pilipinas?
Mr. Chair, meron po mga batas sa
No,
Pilipinas.
I'm asking kung merong personality or tao na magde-decide doon sa mga kino-complain nila ng ating ng government or any other entity, di ba? Pag sinabi nila na ito ay fake news, tapos ni-report sa inyo, who is the person in authority to answer on that takedown? Sino?
So Mr. Chair, magbigay lang po ako ng example. So meron po tayong bagong pasa na Internet Transactions Act. Sa batas po na yon, ang mga platforms po ay nire-require to take down content upon the order of the DTI. Ito po yung sa mga commercial content po. So yung mga advertisements, yung mga produkto po. So pag yung DTI po sinabi na i-take down itong counterfeit product, tinitake down, kino-comply po ni Google yon. Same din po tayo sa anti-trafficking in persons na kapag yung content po ay defined as trafficking content, iti-take down din po ni Google yon. Same din po tayo sa expanded online sexual abuse and exploitation of children. Yun po, madaling matanggal yon at nagko-comply po si Google dun sa batas na yon. So, kung meron pong malinaw na batas na nagde-define sa obligasyon po ng mga platforms, including po yung due process requirement, including po yung turnaround times, including po yung mekanismo, yung mga responsibilities po ng platform, nagko-comply po at magko-comply po si Google.
Okay, in other words, yung mga complaints ni Secretary Ruiz, ni Secretary ng DICT, ni Aguda, cannot be complied with by your platform, precisely wala pang batas na umiiral. Is that what you're trying to tell this committee?
Hindi po, Mr. Chair. So meron po sa mga
Kasi parang
escalations po.
nabanggit mo mga batas, doon lang kayo nagko-comply doon sa mga takedowns. Unfortunately, wala pang umiiral na batas regarding to the complaints that being lodged by these agencies. So in other words, talagang hindi kayo magko-comply doon sa mga request nila. Correct?
Mr. Chair, during especially
No,
during
answer me first, no, kung tama yung assumption namin that dahil wala po silang batas na pinagbabasihan pa doon sa takedowns, so you will not take it down. Tama, mali?
Mr. Chair, yung mga escalations po galing sa CICC.
I want to hear a direct answer. Tama ba yung aming assumption that since itong mga agencies natin like sa PCO and the DICT nagko-complain sa inyo and hindi sila nakakakuha ng mga positive result doon sa kanilang mga request because precisely walang batas na umiiral with regards to their request. Yun yung gusto kong i-point out sa'yo. So, would you agree with me na yun yung inyong pamantayan kaya hindi nyo pinagbibigyan ng request nila? Tama, mali? Tama, mali?
Mr. Chair, if I may provide context to the answer.
Yeah, you can okay. Bigyan mo sa akin konteksto. I just want to hear if it's right or wrong na kaya hindi nyo binibigyan ng kasagutan yung kanilang request because ang konteksto nyo, yung explanation mo is within that context. Explain it to me after you answer yes or no.
Mr. Chair, especially during election period, marami po kaming natanggap na escalations galing sa DICT, CICC, at COMELEC. Marami pong mga escalations ang na-actionan ni Google. Dahil po, nung inassess po namin, either violative ng community guidelines or even violative of the election regulations. So, hindi po totoo na walang aksyon. Marami po kaming na-actionan, especially during the election period. Pwede po nating itanong yan kay COMELEC dahil we have been working closely po with them. Pero, hindi po lahat ng escalations ay maaaring ma-actionan. Dahil nga po, as you mentioned, meron po tayo mga content na hindi naman po siya violative ng community guidelines. Meron din po mga content na while it is wrong or misleading, ay wala pong sufficient basis para po tanggalin. So, to address your answer, sir, we closely coordinate with the government agencies. We closely work with them, and some of the escalated content have been actioned upon.
So in other words, ano pa rin talagang bumabaksak pa rin dun sa kanilang self-regulation, not in consonant with the regulation of the PCO and the DICT. That's a problem, no? Nagbabanggaan. They acted, some of it, but others, hindi. But, yun na nga, iba yung self-regulation nila, iba rin yung sa atin. So, we have to set talaga yung parameters with regard to the, ano yung talaga yung dapat na bawal. Ma'am, you are raising your... with the indulgence of Congresswoman, okay lang ba? Sige, ma'am, please State your name and your position.
Good afternoon, Chair. I'm Attorney Grace Salonga, Executive Director of the Movement Against Disinformation. I just want to take off from the statement earlier of Attorney Ives from Google. Just want to clarify whether the takedowns that were accommodated by YouTube at that time during the elections were premised on the fact that there was like a COMELEC guidelines or circular requiring social media platforms to take down such content. The reason why I'm clarifying this is going back to your point earlier, Mr. Chair, that the thinking of the slow response from social media platforms with respect to takedown is because of the lack of law. If there's a legal basis, it appears that they act faster, especially what happened during the elections. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Kaya nga, yung lacking of the law, no? Yung pa rin talaga tayo, doon pa rin tayo babaksak eh. Kaya nga, this representation would like to request the executive talaga na expedite natin talaga to. Anyway, later on, ma'am, attorney what? You will be
Salonga.
recognized again kasi I think you have a presentation, ano? After which kayo po. Okay, so Congressman Manuel.
Ako muna, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Arlene pala. Sige, go ahead.
Hindi, patapusin lang ako kasi Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, yung probe ko, Mr. Chair, sa matter po ito ng many forms of fake news and disinformation. So, yung isa po dito na inaalala namin sa makabayan ay yung usapin ng red tagging, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Chair, yung red tagging kasi is the act of labeling individuals or organizations as subversives or terrorists, regardless of their actual political beliefs and affiliations. It is a type of harassment that has pernicious effects on its targets. Targeted po siya eh. So even the Supreme Court, through a 39-page decision penned by Associate Justice Rodil Zalameda, defines red tagging, vilification, labeling, and guilt by association as acts that threaten a person's constitutional right to life, liberty, and security, in which may justify the issuance of a writ of amparo. Ngayon, ibig sabihin po, it is really a form of disinformation and human rights violations na kailangan nating pag-usapan at solusyonan and to be taken seriously, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Chair, yung tanong ko po sa NBI and PNP, no? Doon ba? DICT. Well, yeah, I can deal with that. Siguro sa DICT, yung tanong ko po, Mr. Chair, we would like to know kung anong mechanisms meron ang department to combat red tagging in general and promote healthy information ecosystems and cyber safety online. So yung DICT kasi merong Cybersecurity Bureau. Sila yung nakatask sa National Cybersecurity Plan. So ang tanong ko, paano sa operations ng Bureau o sa implementation ng cybersecurity plan, ina-address yung usapin ng red tagging, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
if I
sir.
may.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, the Cyber Bureau is the proactive component of the ICT. The one that monitors po yung sa social media, cyber threat, and what have you. Yung sa naman, CICC po. Yun yung Cybercrime Investigation Coordinating Council. So, dun po sa CICC. Yung CICC rin, Mr. Chair, yung nagkaroon ng Threat Monitoring Center during election. So, we monitor all the fake news that results in harm. So, as a representative from Google mentioned, there are strict guidelines during the COMELEC period, during the election period. On the red tagging, Congresswoman, right now, we don't have a strict monitoring on that one. If we're given guidelines and monitoring, we will include din po in the Threat Monitoring Center. And if it's mandated by Congress to act on it, we will act on it immediately po.
So wala po kayo na kahit ano.
For now po, wala pa po.
So paano nyo, kasi syempre nakikita nyo yan sa fake news, di ba? Madaming pumapasok na fake news sa inyo. And pagka nakaka-encounter kayo ng red tagging, you just...
Mr. Chair, the fake news that we monitor relates to priority namin yung illegal gambling, financial scams. Kasi clear yung mga yung mga guidelines on what we take down. But we don't have any guidelines yet on red tagging. So it's hard for us to monitor all the news except for ones where it gets flagged o ito may violation. Then we coordinate with the platform immediately po.
Paano po yung mga ICT facilitated VOW, Violence Against Women? Kasi we had a dialogue before sa NBI. Oo, I think. Gabriela po ay nakipagdialogo sa NBI. Pero mamaya ko na sila tatanungin. Mas siguro sa inyo, halimbawa yung mga ICT facilitated violence against women and children. Kasi meron pong mga disinformation sa hanay ng kababaihan, LGBTQA, tapos ang talamak talaga dito, yung pagpapalaganap ng mga deepfakes. Yun po yung concern namin nung ano. Actually, deepfakes, tapos meron pang couple niyan with red tagging also Kaya paano ito kino-combat o paano ito ginagawa ng paraan ng ng DICT?
So, Mr. Chair, pag OSAIC, violence against women and children, may clear guidance po. And once we see it,
But OSAIC is for children. For women. Yun po yung tanong ko. Kasi dyan din nahirapan ng Yung deepfakes po kasi, it is often used for illegal distribution of fake sex videos, sextortion.
Yes.
Yan po yung itsura niyan.
yes ma'am, kasama po yon sa minomonitor namin. And Mr. Chair, we have that and we have the tool to monitor. Clear po yung guidelines
Okay.
doon.
You're saying nagmo-monitor kayo. Meron po kayong data ngayon? Kasi actually, ito po yung yung dissemination ng mga fake videos of civilians, activists, lawmakers, katulad namin. Meron pong mga ganyan, yung pinapalitan yung mga short video clips, pinapalitan yung ulo, ginagawa nilang mukha namin or whatever, parang ganyan.
Mr. Chair, I would like to ask ASEC Aboy, who currently runs the ICC,
Okay, ASEC.
because he has more information and he can explain better. With your permission, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, ASEC Paraiso.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ma'am, based on, Mr. Chair,